Regarding the question of what makes Africa work, I'm pleased to say that searching for answers is not as exasperating as it might have been a decade ago. Today, we can demonstrate with clear examples that what makes Africa work are the ingenuity and the resilience of the people, especially its 70% youth population, leadership and good governance, allowing the private sector and markets to function, focusing on infrastructural development, and of course the incredible opportunities that abound. Somehow, everyone has a hunch that if you're not around when Africa truly gets going, it'll be much like the skeptics who stood on the sidelines in the 1990s, convinced that China was going nowhere. How wrong they were. But if I were a betting man, I would surely put my money on African businesses that demonstrate an awareness of how technology will be an exponential catalyst for business. All over Africa, telephony and technology are unearthing, literally, riches that were hitherto unknown. The story of how MTN in Nigeria became the largest mobile network in Africa in less than a decade is still the stuff of legendary investment stories. But the point to note is that those who missed that pioneer telecoms opportunity typically assumed that the Nigerian market was large but not rich enough to translate the numbers to cash. How wrong they were. Today, companies such as Flutterwave, a payment solutions company, Andela, a software development engineering company, Jobberman, an online human resource company, Konga, an online mall, these are poignant examples of how young African entrepreneurs are using technology disruptively to create profits in various business lines. And evidently, the smart money all over the world is paying attention. The Africa growth story is real. Major global analysts appear at least united in the view that Africa has the highest number of economies projected to grow above 5% by 2030. The Nigerian government is intent on bringing about rapid, sustainable, and inclusive growth in order to improve the lot of the dynamic and hardworking people of Nigeria. And we realize that the scale of the challenge is huge, given our large, rapidly growing population and the relentless march of other parts of the world. We are nevertheless determined and optimistic that Nigeria, along with the rest of the continent, will bring about an Africa that will work for its people and contribute to global growth and prosperity. I think that the main lesson that Africa has learned and that African governments have learned is that there is no African exceptionalism. What makes Africa work is what makes economies work anywhere. Honest, visionary leadership and good governance, letting the private sector and markets lead, diversification from resource-based revenues, and developing the human potential that is so available within the continent. I'm convinced that what makes Africa work is what will work anywhere else. And I think that's been tried and demonstrated in so many African economies, especially in the past few years. Thank you very much.